Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So I have a little time today and I'm going to try to get through. I know I'm going to probably not succeed, but we will try to get through. I was going to say Spin Doctors, Two Princes, but boy, there's a lot more to cover and I don't know that I will get that far, especially with the upload speeds. But now those of you who are following along understand this. Those of you who aren't following along, we are operating on the theory that some of these Mandela effects are caused by quantum computers. Now, that was a theory I saw when I first started looking into the Mandela effect. A lot of people thought D-wave quantum computers were doing it. My cousin could concur that that indeed was a possibility. And when we started doing videos after a while, we started to wonder if the changes, if some of these changes were being caused by quantum computers, if some of it was in fact a code. So we started taking the changes and crossing off all of your like letters and taking the changed letters and bringing them down and running them through codes. I'll run them through categories. I'll provide the link to our explanation video. And so we're basically operating on the theory that already existed, by the way, but that quantum computers are causing some of these. Now, those of you who are following along, we've expanded our categories to include research groups and research centers. Why? Even though I didn't think it was going to run through forwards and backwards, but it did in this case. But even though it may not hit every time, if we can get a few research groups or centers out of this, a lot of times the evidence is pointing back to a research group using a quantum computer, right? There's a couple of exceptions, things that have came out, like Kalman Shemy, that came out in the translations and stuff. But in a lot of cases, these are being research groups, universities, genetics research groups, Desert Research Institute, right? So we've expanded our search to include research groups. And we're going to keep going through all the other, this is looking for patterns, guys. So what we did is we had spin doctors. You have says changed to said, ones changed to one, and loves changed to loved. We've already done this. It's right here, actually. It's like 0.62%, I think, variance. Yeah, it's right here on this thing right here. Even though you can barely read it, I can. And it's right here. And on the chart. Now we've already got these letters to go forwards and backwards through genetics, finance, and chemicals. And now we've expanded our categories to do research groups before we get to technology and random hits, okay? Because I was particularly interested in looking up and seeing what we got on research groups. So, and we got it to go forwards and backwards. Now, if you saw my last video, yeah, you'll remember that I said I didn't expect it to. Well, surprise, surprise, I was wrong. It did. So YSI, you get YSI water monitoring. Apparently they are a research group as well. And we had them but once before in this search. They came up in our chemical search, YSI water systems right here. They came up in our research group search. And they are YSI monitoring systems. And so now I've circled them here because they came up here. And I've circled them here because they came up here. And their history is they've had a lot of firsts, which, I mean, they had first quartz crystal electronic stopwatch, crystal, right? Crystal lined antennas, Montauk project, right? Sound familiar to those of you who follow along or know about the Montauk Project? And then there's just a whole list of firsts. First commercial heart-lung machine. We've been through this before. Their applications are aquaculture, cell culture, groundwater, medical research, stormwater, biofuels and renewable energy, food and beverage, hydraulic fracturing, ocean and coastal, surface water, bioprocessing and online monitoring and control, general and environmental lab, life sciences, source, raw and drinking water, and wastewater. So these guys cover the gambit, guys. Medical, and there was a lot of genetic disorders, including SIDS. Right now, and SIDS was also in the chemical search as a data set or a data set. So, but now I type SIDS, and I do have a personal bias for this one, guys. It took me everything I had not to circle it. SIDS is American SIDS Institute. Now, why would I be biased to that? Well, I had a kid that died of SIDS, a baby, years ago, 23 years ago, probably, yeah, 23 years ago. And so, of course, I would love to circle this and draw everything back to the SIDS and say the SIDS Research Center right here. American SIDS Institute. They research SIDS. But I'm not that biased. I am, but I'm not. The evidence simply, while I would love to think that these guys were the ones out there with the quantum computer, I don't. Right now, I'm looking at YSI because they would study SIDS as well, on top of a host of other things. So, as much as I would like that, but they could calculate that. SIDS American SIDS Institute. So they could use that in their calculation, right? So then you got DS. I broke that up, by the way, guys. That's what I did. I took DS and got DS Research Center. And I'm going to end up running this long. DS Nutrient Energy Therapy, the answer to cancer. So, yeah, and once again, this YSI does medical research. And so I found that interesting. And SD ends up being South Dakota State University, has a research group and a bioinformatics research group. And so they're there. So I put them on the list. And that gets you through going forwards in research groups. Now, coming back, you have DSS, which ends up standing for DSS Research. And they deal in medical. So they're a medical research group. And DI then winds up being DI Research Design Intelligence. So I'll let you read about that. I got their website here. And then SY ends up being SY Labs, which would be another good candidate. They do they do microbiology, cryobiology, particle technology, and they've come up. And I got a question mark by them, by the way. Like I've circled YSI because they're my number one suspect right now, just looking at the pattern. But I've got a question mark by these guys because, like what I just exactly read, particle technology, microbiology. But with these guys, with this YSI's medical research guys and all this other stuff, and that literally that gets you through going forwards and backwards in research groups and research centers, and I'll provide the links. So yeah, Once again, we're at 10 minutes. It's tough going here. So I will let this video go at that, guys. Still to come will be the technology search, your random hits, translations. I'll try to get, I'm kind of curious to see what this translates. There could be a message in there, coded. And then we'll break that up into numerological numbers and run those. And interesting, it'll be interesting because we'll be able to take and run those numbers then against all these research institutions that we found and see how the numbers go back to them. See if they do, see if they don't. See if they go to some but not others, see if they go to none. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to find out. Then we will, of course, do binary code and see what we get with the binary. So a few more things to come with this one. I found this to be an interesting search, and we're going to start running it from now on because it gives us more stuff to look at. It gives us stuff that might not come up in the other searches, and some of it might be highly irrelevant. I mean, they can calculate off of any of this stuff in the code. So, of course, they can get into any of these people's research. So, and calculate it and study it. So, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. And more to come for those who are still interested. So, and I know, I mean, once you get started on one with all this, you're going on one for a while, you know. But we're running it through the ringers, trying to wring all the information we can out of it. We're trying to find answers, real answers. And right now it is looking like a lot of these may be caused by quantum computers, just like the theories said. And it's leaving a code. And it actually makes sense. So, yeah, and it's starting to make more sense as we go, to me. Maybe not to everybody, but definitely making more sense to me as we go, and the more we find. So, yeah, one legitimate theory. So, anyway, guys, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And hopefully I got everything. I hit everything I wanted to on this. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your day.